it's Zoe, and today I'm going to be doing my The One Readathon to Rule Them All TBR. If you missed the announcement for that, I will link it down below. You should probably go watch that before this, mine or any of the other co-hosts, so you kind of know what's going on, because I don't want to get into it now, because then that would take up the whole video, and I already did a video on that. Before I get into the TBR, the song from the last video was Follow You by Bring Me the Horizon. I have my TBR on my phone. It's gonna be a hot mess, because I don't know if this is actually my final TBR. It could change several times. Who knows? But this is what I'm going to try to stick to. So first things first, the route that I'm choosing is route number 4, the Nomadic Traveler. Yes, I am going to try to complete all of the challenges because it wouldn't be me if I didn't try to do everything that a readathon asks for. For the purpose of this video, I will go in order from the Shire to Mordor, but I probably won't end up reading them in that order when the time comes, because there are a couple books that are in the same series in this, and you'll understand more when I get to it. So let's just stop talking and get into it. So the first place that we are heading to is the Shire, where you need to reread a favorite fantasy book. For this one, I chose The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I haven't read this in years, and I don't know if I am emotionally prepared to get back into this world. Probably not, but we'll see how it goes. The Hunger Games follows a girl named Katniss Everdeen who makes really the ultimate sacrifice and volunteers as a tribute for the Hunger Games in the place of her sister. The Hunger Games are basically a fight to the death between a bunch of children. This series ruined me, and it did not put me back together at the end. That's all I'm gonna say about it, but it ruined me. After the Shire, we need to head on over to Bree and read a fantasy book set in a non-European inspired setting. That made sense, right? We'll go with it. For this one, I chose The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty, I think. This one is a historical fantasy, I believe. I don't even remember what this one's about, but I remember it being not European. Let's see. Yes, it is a historical fantasy set in 18th century Cairo. There are very few fantasy books that I can think of that have been set in Egypt. The only ones I can actually think of really are some of Gail Carriger's books. Interesting. This will be new. This follows Neri. Don't know how to pronounce this name. We will struggle through it together. I bought this book so long ago, and I totally forgot what it's about. She has never believed in magic. She is a con woman, my type of girl, of unsurpassed talent, but all of the fortune-telling tricks that she uses are just that, tricks, that she uses to swindle Ottoman nobles, and it's a reliable way to survive. I like it. Why is the furnace on? Let me go shut this off so that's not in the background. I'll be back. Alright, well I shut it off and it's gonna take a minute for it to just settle down. So, in the meantime, let's finish figuring out what the hell this book is about. The girl who doesn't believe in magic, there we go, accidentally summons a djinn warrior. I love it. Surprise! Magic is real. And then she needs to go to the City of Brass, but it's not what it seems, and magic, real as it is not like a nice little happy thing. It's fierce, it's brutal, she's probably gonna get her ass kicked by it, and basically she should have been careful what she wished for. After Bree, we are heading over to Fangorn Forest, where we need to read a fantasy book with magical or supernatural creatures. For this one, I had to go with dragons. Specifically, the dragons in The Last Name Sarah by Kristen Ciccarelli. This book follows Asha, a dragon slayer who slays dragons to win back the favor of her people, but no matter how many dragons she slays, the people still hate her for an accident that happened when she was a child. Not only does everybody hate her, she's set to marry a cruel commandant in her father's army. He's basically Satan, and she doesn't want that life. Right before she's about to get married though, her father offers her a way out. She doesn't have to do any of the things that he wants her to do if she brings him the head of the fiercest dragon in the entire kingdom. The only thing standing in her way is a defiant slave boy. The next stop on our way to Mordor is Rivendell, where we need to read a book with LGBTQIA+ rep, either the author, the main character, a point of view, something that has good rep in there. For this one, I chose Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha. I don't know how to say her last name. It's spelled N-G-A-N. Somebody please tell me how to pronounce this last name. If we're being quite honest here, I have no idea what the hell this book is about. I've seen the cover everywhere. Don't have any idea what it's about. It came in a fairy loot box, and it was one of the first books on one of the links provided to help put your TBR together, and I realized I had it, so I'm gonna find out what it's about right now with you guys. Each year, 8 beautiful girls are chosen as paper girls to serve the king. Like they deliver the newspaper, or what's going on here? Let's keep reading. It's the highest honor they could hope for. Oh my god, this was published in the UK, wasn't it? It was published in the UK because honor is spelled with a U the proper way. Thank God. It's the highest honor they could hope for and the most demeaning. This year there's a 9th, and instead of paper, she's made of fire. Lay is a member of the paper caste, the lowest and most persecuted class of people in Ikara? Don't know. 10 years ago, her mother was snatched by the royal guards, and her fate remains unknown. Now, the guards are back, and this time it's Lay they're after, the girl with the golden eyes, whose rumored beauty has piqued the king's interest, naturally. Over weeks of training in the opulent but oppressive palace, Lay and the 8 other girls learn the skills and charm that befit a king's consort. There, Lay does the unthinkable. She falls in love. I'm assuming it's not with a king, probably with a lady, and that's why this was on that list. For the rep. Her forbidden romance becomes enmeshed with an explosive plot that threatens her world's entire way of life, and Lay, still the wide-eyed country girl at heart, must decide how far she's willing to go for justice and revenge. My battery's blinking at me. It's yelling, she gon' die, let's hurry this up. Next is Moria, where you need to read a grimdark fantasy. I don't have this book yet. I'm going to buy it probably this week. I'm going to be reading the Poppy War. Can't remember who it's by right now, but I will put a picture right here. Chances are, though, I will probably end up reading Nevernight instead, because why would I pass up a chance to read Nevernight? Don't even remember what the Poppy War is about. I am just a hot mess this video, and I apologize, but like, it's Sunday. Who knows what's going on in my brain. Next is Lorien, where we need to read a book published by an indie press, not one of the big 5. And for this one, I'm also going to be reading The Hunger Games. I'm doubling up these challenges because The Hunger Games was published by Scholastic, which is not one of the big 5. Not really indie, but it's not one of the big 5. After that is Isengard, where we need to read a book with a villain main character or point of view. Morally gray, ambiguous morality is acceptable. For this one, I'm gonna be using City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. Still haven't learned how to say that in the last couple minutes. This one is another one that's going to be doubled up. I'm assuming that she's morally gray because she is a con artist. I don't know if your moral compass pointed entirely due north that you would be a con artist. So I think this one fits. Next is Helms Deep, where you need to read a book that is a standalone, and for this one, I'm going with Catwoman by Sarah J. Maas. Another one that I've had for a long time that should have read a long time ago, but I haven't. It's a retelling of Catwoman. That's all I really need to know. If it's as good as Leigh Bardugo's Wonder Woman, I'm going to be a happy, happy lady because Sarah J. Maas is one of my favorite authors, and I've always loved Catwoman. I'm not even gonna put this one down because the next one is Rohan, where we need to read a book with a female main character, Selena Kyle. Next is Gondor, where we need to read a book with rep for people of color. Again, either the author, the main character, a point of view. And for this one, I'm going to be using Girls of Paper and Fire as well. Yet another one that's doubled up. The author, Natasha, don't know how to say her last name, is Malaysian. And I don't know if she's fully Malaysian or if she's half Malaysian because her author bio thing, words are hard, says that she grew up between Malaysia and the UK. So I don't know if one of her parents is from the UK and one's from Malaysia, or if they're both from Malaysia. I don't know these things, but I do know that there is some rep for people of color. The next place we are going to is Minas Tirith. I can't say that without rolling the R. Can anyone? That's a very good question. Somebody answer that for me. Where you need to read any fantasy book. So one of these is going to be doubled up with another challenge for this one. And finally, we have come to Mordor, where we need to read the conclusion to a fantasy series. For this one, a standalone is acceptable, or the most recent release of a series is also acceptable. And for this last one, the reason that I picked The Last Namesara for an earlier challenge, I'm going to be reading The Caged Queen by Kristen Ciccarelli, the sequel to The Last Namesara. And I don't even want to look at what it's about because I don't totally remember everything that happens in The Last Namesara, and I don't want to spoil myself. And that is the end of the one readathon to rule them all TBR. Let me know down below in the comments if you're going to be reading any of the same books that I am, and what route and books you are choosing to take if you are participating in this readathon. As always, to stay updated with my current reads and how I'm feeling about them, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Goodreads, all at Your Book Nerd Zoe, which I will leave linked down below in the description box. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I hope you all have a wonderful day and get at least a little bit of uninterrupted reading time. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!